Hi, and welcome back to my day. This is Kismet, the feral grandma. And I'm continuing with a long string of I have no energy. I feel like garbage. Yes, I have had lots of good days since I started carnivore. I need more. I want to feel like that again. I just don't seem to be hitting it. I don't know if I needed more magnesium, so I took magnesium for a few days in a row. Being a trace mineral, your body uses it in tiny amounts, so it has to get into where it's going. But today, I just felt like stretching out on the bed, and I felt as if I had a weighted blanket from my collarbones all the way down to my toes. I don't want to have to deal with this while I'm still trying to put my brain back together. If you have a stroke, you know what I mean. You have a stroke or a TIA, any major insult to the brain, and you spend the rest of your time trying to pull those pieces back together. I want my martial arts to be one of the most important intensive things in my life. And I do mean intensive, because it's a workout, it's an education. Whichever art you take, you're likely to get some history with it. And some people pay more attention in history than others. So I'm probably the only one who has ever learned what we shorten in English to Buddha fist. And break up laughing. It's like different parts of it all the way through. It's like, oh yeah, that's somebody's idea of a joke. I still remember being looked at as if I had sprouted an extra head when I tried to describe Asian naming schemes to somebody whose brain was thoroughly rooted in Western culture. Guess what? That family name comes first, and then you got the personal name. That way, when somebody is addressing you, they're paying their respects to your family history. And I think that did eventually sink in. Of course, I described that to the same person who was saying how much fun they had getting internet to their business. And I said, well, why don't you go with a wireless internet? And they looked at me like, who are you? What the dickens is that? And how does that even work? Well, wireless internet is such a thing now, I don't explain it to anybody else anymore. I have kind of given up hope on explaining to anybody why I don't want every single store out there and every website out there to have their app on my phone. It's like, hey, spy program, remind me later that the fridge has no carrots in it. I don't eat carrots, that's why I don't mind. It's like I've got the wild saber-toothed cave carrots coming up next to my front walk. And there's some mint on the other side, and there's whatever, I mentioned it earlier. It might be some kind of tiny thistle or milkweed or something. Whatever. The thing on the front walk right now that matters the most is the little dog. Gotta get him out regular because he's got a bladder the size of a thimble. Don't you, buddy? You still my puppy. And I hear squeeze box music coming from down the street. People think of Hispanic music, and they probably think of the wandering quartets you see in skits and in movies, moving around in a restaurant playing some music. Strings, string music is great. I like violins, I like guitars and bass and all that stuff. Squeeze box is not too bad when it's Weird Al or when it's Oktoberfest. What, puppy dog? I don't care for it in Mexican music. Really don't. Okay, I think the little dog is done being out here. But there, I've said it. I have been so low energy that it's crazy. If you have ideas, you want to make a suggestion, you want to tell me, drop me a link to somebody's video. There may be something out there from Canberry that I haven't seen yet. I do also watch Sean Baker and Paul Mason and Bart K. He's awesome. I hope one day to be able to deliver an insult and some name calling and swearing the way Bart K does. He's talented. He's artistic. In theory, I better be deciding what to have for dinner. I'm puppy. What are we doing? I don't know. It doesn't matter much. It's the end of a Friday, and it's still bluebonnet weather. I'm out here. The sun is going down. But it's cool. We will not have as many cool evenings as I would like because it's Texas and we will quickly get over 100 degrees. We had a specific year not too long ago, 100 days in a row over 100 degrees. Always be prepared to handle heat emergencies. So the instant ice packs where you squeeze them until you pop the inner liquid baggie and then shake, and it combines with another chemical that's in there, a granulated chemical. Get that all soaking, and you've got, it's just like instant heat packs. But when necessary, they're very useful. Instant ice packs. You should be able to find them at least at your drugstore, probably also in the health and drugs, not beauty, but in the drugstore section of your grocery store, especially down here. Things you gotta have. And I gotta have probably as much, again, protein as what I had earlier. I don't really want it. Maybe I'll skip it, I don't know. In theory, a person should be able to just fast at the drop of a hat if they don't feel well. Something came up, whatever. But I had a headache a little while ago. I've been working on my water all day. I'm a good little carnivore. I get my salt and my water every day. I don't really want my meat right now. And how can you have any pudding if you haven't had your meat? Right, puppy? You gotta eat your meat or you can't have your pudding. Maybe I should go in there and make a custard. I don't know. Custard is easy, isn't it? He doesn't know. He's never made a custard. Come on, puppy. Come on. Let's show the world what a good-looking boy you are. Yeah. You is a good-looking boy. You is. I think you're cute. Don't be too worried about my opinion. I think Bart K's dogs are cute, too. I like everybody's dogs. especially if they are somewhat controlled, either by training. Some dogs take orders really well, like you come back when I call you, you don't get out in the street. And some dogs are contained, like neighbor's big boy across the street. Can't have something that size without keeping it on a chain. That poor thing does need more interaction, though. I think he needs half again as much chain additional beyond what he's got, so that he can properly protect his yard and keep invaders out of it. He just made a sad noise. I don't think he's been exposed to the kind of howling that a dog should properly do when they want attention. And he's moving kind of agitated, so I hope somebody checks on him soon. Maybe he hasn't had his supper. It could be as simple as hasn't had his supper. I'm gonna go inside. I might cut up a little onion, I might not. But I am plotting to make some sauerkraut. I don't think I need any. It's not the best tasting thing I eat, but if I'm going to eat hot dogs as much as I have been, beef hot dogs being cheaper than steak and shrimp, and seriously, I could happily take myself off for a ribeye and shrimp at Chili's right now. I would have to brush my hair. I always brush my hair before I go do anything. But that would hit the spot. It really would. But I gotta mind the spending because we're going off on vacation soon. Yay. Anyway, back in I go, and here's the end of my sunny day in Central Texas. There is still a little bit of light coming through, and there's still a little bit of cloud cover. Hopefully I won't wake up to a thunderstorm. Because that happened today. I woke up to a thunderstorm. It kept raining for a while. And the poor little chihuahua had to wear a thunder shirt for a bit. He gets a little weirded out by thunderstorms. And then we had a weather alert for the wind. Yeah, just wind. Because if you've got a damaged tree near your house, you could expect to have half a tree come down across the main line that brings power to your house or your phone line. If you're still relying on cable for phone and communication, you could easily bring something like that down with a broken tree when the wind starts blowing. Little Chihuahua nose is over here just flexing for all it's worth. He's a good boy. Dogs are good boys, huh, Bubbly? Huh, dogs are good boys. Yeah, you are. You're my sidekick. Let's go make those hot dogs. It's still light out. I could even make them on the grill. So that being so, I might be out here taking a shot of them on the grill pretty soon. I don't know how well this is going to line up. But y'all get beef hot dogs if you can. There are benefits to eating the meat of ruminant animals when that's an option. Now, these are just barely on. I'm just kind of turning a little bit. That one got too hot defrosting. And yes, I've got my little light structure turned on. I'll go get a little above view. I hope those showed up. Yes, I'm out here grilling and it still isn't spring. Texans are just a little bit crazy. But hot dogs are pre-cooked, but seriously, things with a multi-chambered stomach seem to do a better job of removing the glyphosate and other hideous things that we don't want on our food and that we don't want to feed kids. They get it out of the food. Now, pigs and chickens don't have a four-chambered stomach. So a lot of people who have trouble with various foods still have trouble with pork and chicken and eggs, too. I guess I can turn this flame back up a little bit. You always turn it on high to preheat. That way the metal grate is at a cooking temperature and the food that contacts the grate has that little line of sear on it. It will release easier than if you have a cold grate and you put cold meat on it. I don't care what you grease it with. You want a preheated grate. And it occurs to me, I don't think I have ever in my life had camel. I don't know if it's good or not. I have never had the back hump meat of a Brahma cow. And Brahma are raised in Texas. The people who are raising them are not sharing that hump meat. Apparently, it's a lot like brisket in that it's full of collagen, but it's a type of collagen that melts down as it gets hot enough. And so it's just absolutely luscious when you get it to the plate. I would dig in on that. I like my brisket. I like beef in general. I have had elk. Elk is wonderful. I can turn my light back on. I didn't want to blind anybody, but dang. I like venison. Venison is great. I don't think I've ever had muskox, which is essentially another kind of beef-like critter. I have heard, and this might be kind of funny to some, but there is a crossbreed of a yak with a regular domestic cow called a yak cow. I guess because kayak was taken and cow-yak would sound too much like kayak. I don't know. People don't have enough fun with their words. But apparently the yak cow is very good meat and also quite the winner for dairy consumption. And one of the reasons it's good for meat is because it's huge. I've only seen them in photos. I could seriously say taking a liking to those. If they make good milk and they're not infertile, because a lot of crossbreeds are, then why not? But these are just things that people should occasionally think about. If this came up in your market, would you eat it? I hope if you ever see Brahma hump meat at the store you shop at, or at the farmer's market, or whatever, that you would consider it. I have even been told that horse is reasonably tasty, especially if you think about the fact that most horses in the United States are not working animals anymore. They are pasture pets. And the people who have horses that are working animals also tend to have pasture pets. That is a reference to Penny up in Wyoming, if you ever see this video. Love you, girl. You know I'm talking about you. Miniature horses, not ponies, but miniature horses. There are differences in them physiologically and genetically, that they are not ponies, they are horses. I find them a little bit on the creepy side. That's just me. They look like they want to be a lot bigger, taller, and heavier. And just people who want miniature everything have messed that up for them. Sorry, horsies, not my fault. Of course, I have also seen a miniature chihuahua. Some things should not be miniatured. They're already pretty miniature when they're born. A dog that resembles a cotton ball stuck on a bunch of toothpicks so that it can stand up, that's not a dog. That's not something that's going to do you much good at all for anything other than companionship. Granted, I don't have a problem with people having pet companions, but when you mess with something to that extent, what else can go wrong? And how are they going to suffer because they've been messed with? Okay. I'll move my thumb out of the way. I got hot dogs, y'all. Hot dogs and bacon kind of pissed me off lately. Why doesn't anything come in a pound anymore? You get charged by the pound. Oh, I need a pound of this and a pound of that. No, it's going to be 12 ounces of this and 12 ounces of that. And that ain't right. Okay. Me and my water bottle are in and I'm about to eat. Y'all have a good day.